the podcast is blown up. I've been following it since day one, and now you're taking it out on the road. You're going all across the country with this. So, yeah, I guess the first question is, are you still having fun out there?
I never really have fun performing because I'm hardwired to only feel it's like I can only feel rejection and pain, but I never can experience exhilaration or sense of accomplishment. So really, they're only bad shows. There are no good shows. They always do that thing where they go like, "Oh man, the rush you feel, and the audience is laughing, and all that kind of stuff." I never get that. I just get I feel the silence when they don't laugh, but I don't get the rush when they do laugh.
I think one of the hallmarks of the podcast, and when I try to turn people on to listening to it, is I say, for example, you and I are both old school boxing fans, but I'm not a big car guy. But I'll listen to you talk about cars, even though I'm not all that interested in cars. I think when you can transcend with a gift of conversation like that means something.
Thanks for that compliment, by the way. Anyway, I got a Datsun 610. It's a 73 Bob Sharp car. It's a 2-liter. They usually run an L18, and I stepped up. I had the 44 side draft Makunis on there. They're now pulled hard to like 8,300. And
see, I'm still engaged. Yeah. Normally, I wouldn't be. That's you're proving my point.
People always go, well, here's still, I thank you for that compliment, and I will say this to all the people that are thinking about doing what we do for a living. Don't sit around and try to pick or choose what people are going to want to hear. Just figure out the stuff you like to talk about, and then see if you can fashion it in some shape that's going to make it interesting to other people. But don't do the survey part of it, where you go, what do you want to hear, what do you want to hear, what do you want to hear? Because that's essentially back to cars. No great car, no classic, no old Ferrari from the 60s was ever designed because 5,000 people were passionate about it. It's just one dude, he's passionate, and that's his design. Whether it's a painting, a piece of music, a car, a podcast, whatever it is, just do it. If it's good, people are sort of find it. If it's not good, it wouldn't have been any better if you'd asked the 5,000 people what they wanted beforehand. And just like you wouldn't give them all a popsicle stick and have them shape your piece of clay for your next automobile, don't let them shape your act, your routine, your podcast. If you're passionate about something, do it.
Let's talk about people who don't find Dana Gould funny. I know that you've worked for them in your past. I find Dana Gould so funny that I think this is something that children should probably be screened for at an early age.
Well, it's interesting.
They don't get Dana Gould.
Yeah, I know. And it's so weird, too, when people make that proclamation, because you're just basically yelling, I have no sense of humor. Once in a while, people will do that with everything in life. They'll do it with food. They go, I don't like that thin crust New York style pizza. I don't like that. And you'll go, you're fucking idiot. That's why you don't like. But you're announcing to the world. It's like announcing the world that you don't know how to. You don't know the difference between the spellings of the theirs. Mm-hmm. Dana Gould is funny, and the thing is he's not up in your face funny. He's just sort of almost quiet funny. And I think a lot of people need the keys jingling and the lights flashing and the bells and the whistles, because in a way it's like they need to be told a joke is being told. And somehow if you don't hit them over the head with the joke, they act like it's not happening.
Adam Carolla is not afraid to take a chance, and I think one of the things that you've given the American public is a second look at their lack of sympathy for Tex Watson. I think
it's funny because I grew up in L.A. and I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, and all this Manson family and everything was out in Chatsworth, California, and I used to work at a cabinet shop in Chatsworth, and I grew up about 20 minutes from Chatsworth, so this whole Manson thing was going on, so it was like kind of in my backyard, and I never, I always got all caught up in the stories and Spahn Ranch and, Sharon Tate, La Bianca family and all that stuff, but I never really thought about the process of, Tex. I don't know how blue we can go here.
Yeah,
but we can go blue.
Let it all hang out.
All right, so conceptually, just dig this. They were picking up hot runaway 19-year-olds, bringing them onto the ranch, and essentially just free love abounds. Right. You know what I mean? Pre-AIDS, There's nothing.
And there's like 4 dudes. There's like Charlie, Tex, and 2 guys that they killed eventually.
And they're just there to cup their nuts while they bang these hot runaway chicks. And these chicks weren't junkies. They were like hot 19-year-olds from like San Francisco and Iowa that were basically telling their rich parents to F themselves, you know? So you have this whole slew, essentially a harem of hot 19-year-olds. You're on this ranch living rent-free. These chicks are out doing your bidding. Like, they're out stealing and panhandling and shoplifting and getting your booze and your beer and your cigarettes. And by the way, and then you just come home and it's a big orgy every single night. I mean, think about those chicks. Like, you tell a chick, hey, here, take the steak knife, go up to Mulholland and stab everyone in a house. Do you think no is in her vocabulary? Do you think she gets uptight all of a sudden when it comes time to lay down with you? Oh, Tex, you think I'm that kind of girl? No. So Tex, at some point, I mean, it was Charlie's idea to do the massacre and start, you know, the race war. At some point, Charlie must have approached Tex and said, look, hey, Tex, pull your cock out for a second, mop your brow. I want to talk to you. What's up, man? Hurry. Well, I'm in my refractory period. I got a whole new batch of 19-year-olds. We just went down to the bus stop and picked up a whole bunch more. They're coming in, so we're gonna have an orgy tonight. He's like, yeah. You know what I'm thinking? Maybe we back off on the orgies for a second, and we just go up the hill and start killing people. And Tex must have been like, what? I'm balls deep in this 19-year-old, and you want me to tell her what? No, Charlie, come on, man. I just sent one to the store for some malt liquor. Again, there's nothing going on. These chicks don't need condoms. They're not worried about putting out. Hell, back doors open. Let's get it on. And Charlie's like, we gotta start killing. And it's like, oh, we're gonna be on the lam. The cops are gonna be looking for us. Bugliosi or whatever his name is gonna be busting up our orgy. Like, at some point, Tex must have said to Charlie, look, let's just wait till the summer's over. Let's just give it the summer. When we're done fucking, let's see how we feel. And if at that point you want to go and stab a bunch of people you don't know, I'll drive the car.
I'm not saying let's don't do it.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. Charlie, you don't have bad ideas, so you couldn't have a bad idea. But all I'm saying is a new batch of 19-year-olds, new fresh shipment coming in this weekend, and we're all going to be balls deep in these ones. I'll drop a digit on your ass if I need to, Charlie. But either way, let's pull this daisy chain and keep this party going.
One of the things I love about the Adam Carolla podcast is that it often champions the 70s celebrity whose star has perhaps dimmed in recent years. I know you've got a lot of balls in the air, so to speak, but what about the thought of curating a Kenny Rogers Film Festival?
Yeah. Let's start it with the Gambler and finish it with Six Pack, which I believe is his finest work. And then...
was there ever a more left-handed nod than the one that the Gatlin brothers got in Coward of the County?
Well, that was a great story, because if you really listen to the Coward of the County, he's the coward, and they call him Yellow. By the way, now you get called asswipe and douchebag. Back then you just got called Yellow.
Yeah.
You could do a lot worse than Yellow, right?
Yeah.
Now we have drive-bys, but back then it was like, you Yellow. All right. He called me a color. You know? Especially, and by the way, as a white guy, that ain't no big deal. So they called him Yellow, and he was dating like Becky Sue. And at some point, the Gatlin brothers rolled into town, and then as Kenny tells it in Coward of the County, he goes, there were 3 of them. And essentially, the gang raped her. They did what Tex wanted to do over on Spawn Ranch before it all got broken up. But I interviewed Kenny Rogers once, and I was like, the Gatlin brothers were a pretty popular act, in the 70s. And you decided to make the 3 rapists from Coward of the County, the Gatlin brothers. And I'm like, and also you guys must hang out in Nashville and stuff, and pretty, it's the Oak Ridge Boys, the Gatlin brothers, Kenny Rogers, and Tammy Wynette. Like, you guys must see each other at barbecues and stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, I toured with them for 8 years. I'm like, you toured with the Gatlin brothers, and when you're writing Coward of the County, you just and I said, and you make these fictitious guys who do all this gang raping of Becky Sue. You call them the Gatlin brothers, and then I said, how many Gatlin brothers were there, like in real life, when you toured with the act? And he goes, there are 3 of them. I was like, wow. That must have been a little intense backstage with the Gatlin brothers. Like, Jesus Christ, couldn't have gone to fucking Johnson. How about the Hudson brothers? You guys got to Google the Hudson brothers. It'd be a nice laugh.
So Adam,